There's nothing wilder to me than people getting advice about marriage and children when they're not married and they don't have any kids. And this is the thing, you take advice from people who don't have anything that you want. So, but if you want marriage advice, go to somebody who's married. If you want advice on your kids, go to people who have kids. And because I'm telling you, they can tell you some stuff that they've been through and it will help you.
I don't know what to say after that.
Life of a young boss, I'ma let you know what you wanna know. My closet full of clothes, fast I don't just cruise, pockets full like Terry Crews.
Hello, everybody. This is Terry Crews.
This is Rebecca Cruz.
And Rebecca Cruz. Welcome to our YouTube channel. We are here just to answer some questions, to talk about a lot of stuff that you've seen about us in the media. And we want to address it in our forum on our YouTube channel. Rebecca?
Well, most of y'all want to know about our sex life. Since my husband decided to go on camera and talk about a sex fast that we did as part of our marital therapy. First of all, whose idea was this?
It was mine.
Can you believe that? It was his idea.
It was my idea, but I got the idea actually from several therapists.
I'm very excited to have this opportunity to share with you. Many of you know that I speak and that I preach, and so I get to do this in live settings all the time, in women's conferences and churches, but we really wanted to address the fans about some of this. The thing that shocked me was what a big media hit it was when Terry brought this up.
Yeah.
We didn't know that many people would be interested in our sex fast. And suddenly there were all these pages set up about 90-day sex fast, 90-day sex fast. Could you go 90 days? And I guess, we hit a hot button. And, it's just our job to tell our story, just tell the truth, and hope that it encourages you guys. I'm so proud of him for telling his story, for writing his book. When he first came to me about writing the book, I was the one who was hesitant because I wasn't sure I wanted everybody to know. I wasn't sure I was ready for that. And his willingness to be so upfront and so open has cost me a little bit. His book came out right at the same time as my first single. So every interview I did about my music, they wanted to talk about Terry's sex addiction.
And I'm just going to really quickly say what my side of this thing is. I, for years, had an addiction to pornography. And a way to combat that is what they call a reset. And it's kind of a way of pressing the reset button on your brain, on the synapses that go through, and the way you deal with sexuality, with family, on top of all the things that we were doing to get through and in our recovery. Because it was a real shock and kind of was a bomb in our marriage that really kind of blew up. And I had to deal with my issues. I had to deal with the things that I had to deal with. And again, it was no fault of Rebecca's. It was more so my therapy. But the sex fast issue was you 90 days, no sex, but all communication.
The purpose of the sex fast was to reestablish intimacy apart from sexual connection. One of the issues with sex addiction is that there's a depersonalizing of the person that you're either acting out with or you're watching in the videos or in the strip club. There's a depersonalizing, and so sex can become very depersonalized even in the marriage or in the relationship that you're in. And so many couples find themselves in a position where, though they're being physically intimate, they are not being emotionally intimate or spiritually intimate. And so their connection is purely in the touch, and leaves them feeling hollow and empty and unsatisfied. And I think for us, what the sex fast did was kind of made us like teenagers again. It's like we were dating again. We began to talk to each other. We kissed without expecting it to turn into something. I recall feeling like Terry began to see me more as the person that he saw me as when he started dating me, not just the wife he expected sex from on a regular basis as part of my wifely duty. And it was powerful. And believe me, I was shocked that he was willing to do it. I was very shocked.
You know,
I'll just tell you.
It was so shocking that we actually failed the first year we tried to do it.
Yeah, we did.
We went 75 days. I remember.
Well,
going,
I don't consider that a failure because that's still
yeah.
pretty good. But
We went 75 days, and you know, we just said, you know what, let's kind of throw that away. And then, but you know what? It always stuck with me that the mark was always 90. And I came back the next year and said, let's do it again. But I want to hit the mark this time. I want to get to the 90 days because I'm so serious about, you know, improving our marriage, improving who I was. Because the deal is, again, pornography addiction is never about the woman. It's never about the other person.
about the other person,
It's
yeah.
about-
Because there are women addicted to porn as well.
Yeah, and but this is the problem: is that a lot of guys make it feel like it's you. They make it feel like, you know, society makes it feel like there's something that she didn't do, and this kind of thing. But it had nothing to do with her. It was the way I had accustomed to dealing with my pain. Some people drink, some people smoke, some people do whatever, you know, that gets them through their bad times. But
Well, and I want to
Yeah, go
say on the blame issue that blame can be very self-diffusing. As much as you try not to take any blame in a situation like that, there is a natural tendency, I think, for the person who's the victim or the wounded person by the behavior to feel that blame, even though you mentally know that every person is responsible for their own choices. You know, we're all responsible for what we do with our bodies, regardless of what other people do to us. There's still this kind of mental game that life tries to play with you, like there's something you could have done. It's our attempt to regain control in a situation that we have no control in. And I had to resist that. I really had to resist that. I had to tell myself, this is not your problem. And whatever problems are in the marriage, good, bad, or otherwise, his choices were his own. And that took a while to lay hold of for me.
I get paid for when I speak. For antenna, you can see. Floors heat, I feel like way. House big, I got a maid. Yeah, I'm eating, get a plate. Couple thousand on my plate. Diamonds wet just like a pool. Going fast, I don't just cruise. Pocket swole like Terry Crews.
I don't recall Terry ever doing anything that directly blamed me. Now, I had my own ways of acting out in terms of coping with being lonely. I was angry, and we separated for a while.